basically everything is event here. When you click something button, that is one event. So if you type something in your keyboard, that is a event. So when you're scrolling something, so this is a event. Everything is a event here. What are the action you are doing in your web, that's called the event. Okay, so now one so the step we're going to learn. Okay, so we created a new file here in the dom.js. So this one is 9 event listeners. Okay, list. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, we already have in HTML, right? So I'll just you don't have any doubt in this previous things what I covered? Did you practice or not? I'm just having some doubt, that's what. Okay, so the event listener. So the event listener, basically what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to take this clear task button. Okay, so this clear task button, wait 1 minute, this guy should want to. So I'm just going to take this button. Okay, so this clear task button. So the clear task button is this one. Okay, so I'm going to target that. So anyone explain me how to target the button now using the class? Please tell me, how can I target the button now in the JavaScript?
Sir, can you repeat it?
Yeah, now I want to target this button. Okay, so I want to target this button in my JavaScript. So how can I target this clear button in a JavaScript? This is a class. Okay, this attribute is a class, not an ID. So how can I target the button here? So what we use to target the button? So for example, it starts from document. So
Document class name.
yeah, so basically we're going to use a document query selector, right? So on the day itself, I told you that I'm going to stick with this query selector, not the class name or get element by ID like that. Okay, so the query selector, I just want to pass the class. I'm going to target a clear task. Okay, so if I console log this in a console log this, I'll just put that here. So I can get the button in my console, right? So you see now it's returning a DOM token. Okay, I should want to change the file name. I'll change this file to /9 event listener. Okay, so I created a new file, event listener. So we're going to learn today the event listener and the objects. Okay, so I just console log the query selector, and I'm just consoling log the clear task button btn. So now I can get the button here. You see but we actually get this button here. Okay, the clear task button. Okay, everything is fine. Now we're going to add an event to that. Okay, the event is what I told you that just I give you some explanation. JavaScript, yes. So okay, yes. So we use this. Where is that JavaScript info? Always use this documentation because this is very good. They will explain you some good like they will explain you something different. Okay, so basically this is the event introduction to, yeah, okay, so introducing to the browser event. An event is a single signal that something has happened all DOM nodes generally such signals, but event are not limited to the DOM. So here a list of most useful DOM event, just like to, wait, I will just show you like this. So the mouse event has a click and we don't need this. So mouse over, mouse out, mouse down. We're going to learn all these things. So just basically I want to know, you want to know what is event basically. Okay, the event is a signal to something happen to the element. That's it. So that's all. I think this enough, I think. So we don't need much more about this. We will look that in a practical way. Okay, we don't want this in like this. So okay, so now what I'm going to do, so we used to call we just console log this element here, so that we now get this element here, right, in the console. I'm going to add some event to this. Okay, how can I add the event? There is a method called add event listener. Okay, the add event listener takes a two thing. One is a name of the event and another one is a function of the event. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a click event. Okay, this is a click event. When we click the button, what should I want to do? Okay, I'm going to call the function here. This function is going to return the action, what we going to do when we click the button basically. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to call console.log 123 for now. Okay, wait, showing error. Okay, so this one, I don't need this console.log here anymore. Okay, we'll keep like this. So when I click the button, I just need to console the 123. Okay, so remember that when I click the button I target the clear task. Okay, the black color button. When I click, this function is going to fire off. Okay, so when the function is going to fire off, what is going to happen? It's going to execute the function body. Inside the function body, we created the physical code. Okay, we created that. So that code is console.log 123. So when I come back here, nothing is showing here. But when I click this, you see now it's returning 123. You see. So when I click again, I can get the 123. Okay, this is how the function event listener basically work. So it takes the element, what element you should want to target, what event you should want to add into that particular element you target from the document. Okay, so here this is the function name, add event listener. So this is a method. So it takes a click event. So it's a click event. So the function runs when the click happen to the button. Okay, so I'll show you what are the types of element, what's that, the events we have in JavaScript. So for now, I'll just I'll just command this out. Okay, I'm going to target the same thing. Okay, here we call the manual function here. Okay, we just create the function on the fly, but I'm going to name it function now. So we can pass the function name as also. So here I can call the click again. Click. So here I pass the on click. Okay, the function name I'm passing. So this is the function name. I want to create this function name now. So the function takes a on click. This is the function name what I gave here. Okay, remember that. I'll just create this function. Now this function also. Okay, I'll pass the E. Okay, the E is basically the event. So we can access a lot of object and methods of the event parameter. Okay, for basically here what I'm going to do, let the val, I'll just create some variable here called let value. I'll show you what is going to return. Okay, let val equal to E. So here I'll just put console.log E. Okay, so when I try to console log the E, basically the E is coming from this parameter, the function parameter. Remember that. So now, sorry, the val, not the E. So you can directly call the E, that's going to return the same thing. But if I come back here, when I click this one, you see it's returning some object, pointer event. Okay, it's returning pointer event. So when I open this object, I can get a lot of things here. You see the client X, client Y. I'll show you everything now. So we can get the path of that. So pointer event ID, then the pointer type. Okay, it's a mouse type. Then screen X, screen Y, then target, what the target is. You see A, BTN test and the clear BTN. I will show you everything now. So the type is click. Okay, so this is how the things basically work. So now what I'm going to do, this E is going to return the actual things about the element where we click. Okay, so now I target this clear task, so I used to call the add event listener. So it takes the event name and the on click as a function. This function is now takes the event function only. Okay, when you passing the event as a function, this function is going to have a event object here. Okay, this event object is going to contain lot of information about the particular element what you actually use to pass a event. So first this is very important. Okay, the target element, because most of the time we used to know which element we should target or like that way. So val equal to event is an object, so I can use the dot target. Okay, target. So what the target is going to return. Okay, so I'll put a console.log val here. So each and every time we'll update the value. Okay, one by one. So val e dot target, I show you the target there. So if I come back here, when I click this one, I can get that actual element. Okay, when I click this button, I can get the actual element. This is very powerful. Okay, when you click the something, you can get the actual element from the document. So it's returning the actual element of the document, where you using the element, wherever you're clicking the element. Okay, so now it's returned the a tag. So okay, I can get, now I actually get the actual element. Now I can get the attribute of this element. Okay, so for example here I can give e dot target name, target dot id is an attribute. So you see there is a id btn test. So when I save this, so now when I click this one, I can get the btn test. Okay, this is how the thing's gonna work. So I can get the class name also, e dot target, the class name. Okay, so when I come back here and if I click again, I can get the clear task and btn button. This is the class what we used there in the element. Okay, so we can get the e dot target dot class list also. So the class is basically going to return what type. How should that class list is going to return? It's going to return like kind of array, but what is the name of that array is going to, not, it's not an array, but it should look like array. What is the name? I already,
Objects.
no, not an object. I told you that
Node.
everything collection and node
Class
list.
collection or node.
Yeah. So it's basically going to return as a DOM token list, right? So if I come back here, I click, it's going to return a DOM token list. Okay, the DOM token list, each class or token. Okay, these are the list. So document object model token list. So the element has the token list. So 1, 2, 3. This is how the things are working. So remember this, when we get into interview, the people will ask you, the interview will sure ask you about these things. Okay, when you use the classes, what it's going to return back. So you should want to say it's kind of DOM token list. Okay, so remember these things. So that's why again they're asking you. Okay, so event type, we should check event type also. For example, val equal to the event, what type of the event we are now firing off. Okay, so e dot type, the event is basically, the e is basically an object. So I'm just targeting the type of the event what I'm clicking here. When I used to click this clear task, so now I get click. Okay, you see, because this is a click event. So whenever I click the button, I can get the type of the event. So it's going to return a click. Okay, so then coordinates of the events relative. Okay, relative to the window. I will keep like this. So here val equal to e dot this one is related to, I will show you the example. So client y. Okay, CLIENTY. Okay, so it's going to basically, it's going to return the coordinates of the event. Okay, basically the space, how long. Okay, I will show you the example. It's very hard to explain. So here I will click, it's returned 425. Okay, but if I do like this and I will click this, it's returned 175. Basically what it's doing, it's basically takes from the stop from the 0 and here from this button. Okay, actual button place. So when I click this, it's going to return how much the pixel space is actually in between to top and to this button. Okay, so this is the coordinates of the event we can get, but this is not going to work anymore. But I'm just want to show you these are the things we can get. So for the X, okay, for the X we can get, if I click here, so it's basically returned from here to here. Okay, if I can click like this, I can click like this. So in between the space from the window edge to this button where I'm clicking the actual position, it's going to return the pixels of the value. Okay, so that is the e dot client X. So now, but this offset is very important. So now I'm going to show you some other things. So this one is,
Sir,
yeah,
the client X value will be taken from the left side of the window, sir, or from the top side.
actually Y is going to work for the top to the bottom, right? So if I click this, it can have a, okay. So wait 1 minute, we will check. I don't know that. So wait 1 minute. So here the offset X, offset, I think offset small. Yeah, okay. Offset Y will do like this. So the offset Y, it's going to coordinate events relative to the element. Okay, not the window, only for the element. So it's going to check in like how do I say that, inside the element only. Okay, if I click like here, I can get 3. If I go like this, so the Y is basically this side, right? How the Y is basically works. So this is yeah, the Y is going to work from top to bottom, X is from left to right. Okay,
But by using client X, sir, the page will not move
yeah,
towards the right.
yeah, the client E and Y is, the page is not like that way. We are using this scroll, no. So you see, this is now, this is having this much to this much space. Okay, when we shrink, when we growing this console tab, right?
Yes, sir.
So on that time, the window is space is only from here to here only. If I click like here, so the window space is going to reduce. Okay, that's the reason. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so we never going to use the client Y, client X and all. So don't worry about that. We most of the time we're going to stick with the offset Y and offset X, because we need sometimes about the element space where we click to set some heat map like kind of conditions. So then we're going to use all these things when we get into the project. Don't worry about that. You will understand where we are going to implement all this stuff. So if I click this, so it can get the, I think why it's returning like this. So this is for the element, right? So yeah, okay, that's what this is for, offset X. Okay, so when I click like this here, this is going to check only for the element. So I can give like this way. So if I click here, it's going to return 0 or 1. Okay, so we can get also the 0 also. Yeah, see, you can get the 0 also. The X is going to work from left to right and the Y is top to bottom. Okay, so everything is good. So I think this is enough. Okay, so basically what I want to, you want to learn from here, this E is actually an object. Most of the time we going to use this target and offset sometimes like that. Okay, so the target is very important because we want to know which element we actually click or add some actual element target. Okay, so this is very important. So remember this. So basically what you should want to learn now, the E is an object for this event. It's going to return some object. In that object we have all these properties. Okay, so that's all. So this is event listener. So I'll just show you the mouse event. Now we get into the mouse event. Okay, so MOUS mouse events.js. This one is 10, right? So mouse event.js. So here what I'm going to do, basically what I'm going to do here, I'm just the same element I'm going to target. Okay, this element. So I'll put that here. Okay, so I'll put this here like this way. I'll get this one. I'll keep some name to this variable. Sir, can we have the class till 8:30? Okay, now the time is, yeah, bro. Yeah. Okay. So const, I'll keep the name of clear btn variable name. I'm storing in the variable the actual button. Okay. So here I'll put mouse event. So first one is click one. Okay, the click. So clear btn dot add event. Okay, clear btn dot add event. Listener. Listener. This one is click. Okay. So I just passed some function name here, run event. Okay. What I'm going to do, first we check it is working or not. So here, what I'm going to do, so basically I will create some function. This function name is run event because that is the event function, what the name I gave there. It takes the event parameter. So console.log, I want to know what event we are firing off here. Okay. We want to check the event. So here, this one should be a e dot type. Okay, what type of the event we actually using? Okay, so console.log event type is e dot type. Okay, so now if I come back here, when I click this, okay, I want to change the file name here. /window.event. Okay, everything's fine. Okay. So here I made some mistake. So this is t document. Okay. So when I click this, it's returning the type of the event is click. Okay. Now we basically add the click here. So it should each and every time it's going to return what the type of the name, the event we are using in this application, the example. Okay. So now we used to give a click. So we have a lot of events. So we'll get into that event, every event. Okay. So now the second step is what I'm going to do. So this one, I'll just make some commands and all. Okay. So this one is for click. And this one is for double click. I'll just copy this. So I'll put here, this one is for db click. So when I click off one time, it's going to not going to fire off. But when I click this 2 times, why this is not working? Add event listener db click. Okay, dbl click. Sorry, dbl click. This one is. So when I click first one time, it's not going to fire off the event. But when I click double click, so it's going to fire off the db double click. Okay, you should want to click 2 times here. Double click. So this is the double click event. So I'll put here. So then we have a mouse down. Mouse down. When you click only, it's going to fire off. Okay. So here I'll paste that. This one is for mouse down. So what's going to happen? When I click this, it's fire off. Now I'm not releasing my mouse. Okay. So now only I'm just release my mouse. When I click, it's going to fire off. When I click, it's going to fire off. Okay. So this is mouse down. You want to practice this. Without practice, you can't able to feel that what I'm doing here. Okay. So you should want to work it out. Okay. Please go and work out today. Then only you can understand how these events are basically working in your mouse. So we have a mouse double click. I think we have a mouse up. Okay. So mouse up. Now I click the button, but the event is not firing off. When I'm releasing the button, so it's going to return the mouse up. Okay. You see the event is returning mouse up. I clicked now. When I release the button, it's going to fire off the button. Okay. So this is a mouse up event. So we have a mouse enter event, MOUSE mouse enter event. So I'll just paste this one. So here it is a mouse enter, ENTER. Okay. You see, when I'm not clicking. Okay. Whenever I mouse over to this event, it should fire off. You see the number is increased there. Okay, wait, I will show you again. So you see, again, I clear the console. When I come to this, I'm not clicking. Okay. When I hover this button, it should fire off each and every time. Okay. This is mouse enter. So the name is basically similar to the action what we are doing. So how the programming, every programming kind of that only. Okay. So, but you should want to practice a lot to understand these things and all. So this one is mouse leave. LEAV, right? So when I get my mouse into the button, it's not going to fire off. But when I leave from there, so it should fire off. Okay, you see, when I leave, it fire off. When I leave, it should fire off. So this, excuse me. So this is how the mouse leave is working. Then we have two more events: mouse over and mouse out. So what I do now, so I'll show you the example from here. So here, what I'm going to do. So we have mouse. Okay, we'll target the mouse move now. Okay, so the mouse move is basically, I'm going to get this card action. Okay, the card action. I'll get this one. So this one is card. Okay, so I'll put this mouse action here. So the card action. So what I'm going to do now. So just create a card dot add event listener. Card is coming, add event listener. It takes a event. Okay, event is mouse move. Mouse move. So the mouse move take the same function name. I'm just going to pass the run event to call the function here. So when I used to, you see, this is the actual card. Okay, this is the actual card. So when I hover here, it should show me that firing off. Okay, whenever I'm moving, this event is firing off. You see, the number is increasing, but when I leave from the card from outside, it's not going to fire off. When I enter the mouse inside, it should fire off. Okay, this is how the things are actually working. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make something different here. Okay, so to get that, so I'll just put console.log. Okay, so console.log. This one is mouse 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 x. This should get e dot offset x. Then mouse y is e dot offset y. Okay, so the offset is basically what, coordinate relative to the element. Okay, not the client. Okay, so remember that it's only for the element. So when I come back here, it should now return the console log. You see, every time it's actually returning the mouse x and y. Okay, where I'm actually inside this card. Okay, when I leave this, it's not going to fire off. But you see, you look the x. Okay, the x is from left to right. So when I enter here, it should increasing. You see, it should basically increasing like this way. Okay, so this is how these things are actually work. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to show this in a, I will target the, I'll just target the, which one I will target here. I'm just going to show this in a here. Okay, so I'll show this in this task title. Okay, I'll copy this task title class. I'll put a class of heading. So I'll call the task title. So here I'm going to give the heading dot inner text. Okay, equal to, I'll just copy this one and paste it here. Okay, so I can now see this in my heading output. So if you come back, no, what's happening?
Bracket is missing.
No, that's not a problem. Inner text, right? So this one is like this. Okay, I think inner text is not gonna work. So we can use text content here. Okay, the text content. So why it's returning like this? Cannot set the property of null. Why? This heading is basically ID, I think. Yeah, okay. This heading is basically ID. Yeah, okay. So I made some mistake here. What the mistake is, I used to put a dot here. We should want to put a hash. Okay. So this one is inner text. So you see, it's returning here. Okay, we are updating here in the actual element, okay, in the browser. Okay, this is how these things are actually work. So we can do whatever we want, so we should want to think like this way. Okay, so that's it. We can also change the body color using this things with the number. For example, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to target the document dot body dot style dot background color is equal to, I'm going to give RGB. Okay, the RGB takes E dot offset X, then we'll give the E dot RGB takes a 3 parameter. Okay, so one is for red, green, blue. So here I'll give some kind of 60 like this. Okay, so where is my mouse cursor? You see, whenever I scroll this color is going to change. Okay, this is how these, we can do whatever we want. Okay, so basically it's going to return some color whenever we type. So this is going to update for this X, this is going to update for the Y. This is basically a static value, so I'll just give 50, so it should return. Else you can also call this one also here. For example, we'll just put like this. So what we do, we'll just create another variable. So here we'll pass the value. So now it should return like some different colors. You see how beautiful is it? Or else you can give a plus and add the E dot offset Y also. It should plus and return the Y. So okay, so the plus is not, basically it's a string. Okay, the string and string is not going to work. So that's the, okay, I gave the Y here. Okay, so yeah, okay, so now it should work. You can do whatever you want. Okay, you see how these things are actually working. Go and practice this. Okay. Excuse me. So this is a very simple logic. We can do whatever we want. So we saw the click event, double click, mouse down, mouse up, mouse enter, mouse leave. There is another two thing, mouse over and mouse out. So I will give you the example tomorrow, because that is kind of something different. Okay, tomorrow I will give you that example. So mouse, because we're not going to use that mouse over and mouse out. So if you want to try it out, you just go and learn by yourself. Okay, today when you come back, I will ask you some question. You will just tell me what is the difference between the mouse enter and mouse in. Okay, I think mouse in and mouse out. Yeah, I think mouse in and mouse out. Yeah, you should want to tell me the difference between the mouse in, mouse in and mouse enter, and mouse leave and mouse out. Okay, tomorrow when you come, you just research the result, what the result is returning, and also you want to say what's the difference between the enter and leave. Okay, to comparing to this in and out. So this is mouse event. So we also have the keyboard event. Okay, so we, in the keyboard also, we should going to type something, we should going to copy something. So there is also event, right? So I'll just create a new file. So this one is keyboard event.js. So here I'll change this file name /keyboard event.js. So when I come back here, what I'm going to do, so the event, I'm going to use this this one. Okay, the task. So I'll get this task, and I think that's enough. So here I'll just put const task input. I target the event. Okay, remember that document dot query selector. Here I'll put the task event. This is ID task. Okay, so I think it's just a task, right? Yeah, just a task. Okay. So I'll console log the task input. What it's going to return? It's going to return the actual input. Okay. So, okay. So when I console log here, it's basically returning the actual input. Okay. This is the input what we have now. So first step is event is key down. Okay. Key down. Just copy the function from here. The same name I'm going to use here, so I don't need this and all. Just use, I just only need the type of the event. Okay, So here task input dot add event listener takes a key down. So here I pass the run event. Fine. So now you see it has nothing. So but when I type something from the keyboard, key down, when I press something, okay, whenever I press the key, it should increase the number. You see the what it means. It's basically whenever I click the button, it should firing off the function. Okay, so that the function body is returning. What is in the function body? It's going to return the event type e dot type. Okay, that's it. So this is a key down. So I'll just copy this. So this one is for key up. It is the opposite of the key down. Okay, so this one is key up. So key up is going to take a up. So now yeah, okay, so you see when I click J, okay, now you see this okay, I should want to change it here, right? So this one is key up. Okay, yeah, it's working properly. Okay, basically what happening here, whenever I take out from the, I'll just wait 1 minute, I'll take this running now. I'm not going to pass anything here, just take this from here. So I'll, it's actually why it is returning key down and key up. Okay, I didn't console log here. Okay, so now you see the J is, I click the J, okay, but it's not firing off the function. But when I leave the mouse, when I leave the keyboard, it's going to fire off that. Okay, so whatever the letters I'm just holding, it's not going to fire off. But when I leave when I leave the button, so it's going to firing off. This is key up. Okay, so I just copy this and paste one more here. So this one is key press. So this one is PRESS. So here, okay, so I'll just command this out. So basically what's going to happen, I should want to, even when I press, it's going to happen, I think. Press and leave. So whenever I press, it's going to happen. Okay, that's it. So you just go and find the difference between the, I'm not going to say today, okay, the key up and difference between the key down and the key press. You should want to find out when you come tomorrow. Okay, just go and research, because the research knowledge is more important as a programmer. So that's what I'm saying. So the focus, we have the focus. So this one takes a task input, focus event, FOCUS. Okay, what the focus is going to do. Okay, so when I click here, it should fire off. Whenever I click this, whenever this event is going to click here, it's going to fire off. That is the mouse event. You see, whenever I click here, it should fire off. Okay, so that's it. Okay, when I'm focusing the actual input element, what I target. So then we have a blur element. So the blur is kind of opposite to blur, opposite to the focus. So I'll pass the blur. So when I click here, it should not fire off. But when I click outside of the input, it should fire off the function. Okay, you see, this is the blur. The focus is when you focusing to the input element. The blur is when you out focusing the input element. That is the difference between that. Okay, so this is the blur. Just I keep on. Okay, so here we have a cut, copy, paste. Okay, for example, now I'll show you the cut. Here I'll put CUT. Okay, so CUT. I just type something and I gave control A. When I give control X, it should fire off. Okay, you see now it's got cut. Whenever I give control X, it should fire off. Okay, that is event type of the cut. We also have the basic of copy and paste. So here I'll call this one. So this one should be copy. This one is paste. So now what I do, I just type something here and I control A, control C. Now it's copy. V1 you can give in mouse also. When I give the control C, the copy, when it's going to fire off. Okay. So this is a control cut. Okay. Just now I'll just console off this, and here this one is active. I just copy this. and I paste here, okay, you see whenever I paste, it should fire off. Okay, whenever I paste here, it should fire off. So this is a paste event. Okay, so just follow this code and learn these things about how the event are working. When we're going to implement all these things in in our application, don't worry about that. Okay, so what we do now, in this very important thing we're going to have, okay, when I key down, what I'm going to do, I just show you something here. Console.log e.target. Okay, so now what I do, I'll just keep this value here. Oh, so the value is running. So when I click this, so it should return the actual element. You see, when I click something here, whenever I key down, it should return the actual input element. That's what we did now. Okay, you see, it's returning the e.target. The target is actually what? The actual element. Okay, in this target, we have the value. When I give the value, now it should return whatever that I'm typing here. You see, it's returning running. If I do like this, it should return the previous element, and then only it should return the actual element. Okay, so here D, next one is DEF, like this way. Okay, in React also it's worked like the same way. So whenever I type something, it should return the value. This is how you should want to get the value. Okay, so remember that I'm going to get this heading. We already did here, right? So I get the heading here. I'll just going to change that in a text content. Heading dot inner text equal to e dot target dot value. So I'll just pass this one. When I save this, now I'll take this running also. We don't need this running. So we'll take this running. So when I come back here, I'm just focusing now this input. Whenever I type, it should change in the bottom. You see, whatever type, I'm just updating here. Okay, this is how these things actually work. So this is the target is actual element, and the target value, we can get the value using dot value as an object property. Okay, so I think this is good place to stop. Tomorrow we get into the event delegation and some local storage. That's all. Tomorrow onwards we close the. So if you have time, we can complete this also today. It's okay. Can I carry on? Only 2 more sections we have in the DOM. Is it
Yes,
okay
sir.
to
No
everyone?
problem.
Tomorrow, sir. Okay, no problem. We can see that tomorrow. Okay, so today go and learn this. So it is very basic thing, but don't learn only from my code. You also go and research some documentation from the internet. So go and learn what they are actually saying, so that then only you can able to learn these things. Okay, so you should want to learn
So
everything
can
by
we get this list of all events on internet?
what, brother?
List of all these events that you
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah.
Can we get on Google or
Yeah,
you'll
you
be
can get
providing?
everything on the Google. Okay, I almost learn everything from the YouTube only.
So I have to search like DOM events, right?
Yeah, you should want to search the event listener. The name I'm giving, the proper name, you should want to. This is the keyword. Okay, event listener.
Okay,
Just
event
put
listener
event
in
listener.
JavaScript.
Yeah, that's all. The mouse event in
Okay.
JavaScript, a keyboard event in JavaScript.
Okay, sir.
Right on. So
And are we going to use this in our website or this is just for analytics purpose?
no. We're going to use it in for website. Okay. So for example, if you used to click something, we should show some pop-up, right?
Yeah.
So that time we should need to use the JavaScript to solve that problem, right? So whenever I
Okay, so
click on
button
that,
click will be the
yeah.
useful
So
over
that is
there.
how these things. Yeah. So we're
Got
going.
it.
The event is very important because we're going to handle the UI, right? So when we delete something, when we click the delete button or update button, for example, here you see we have delete icon. Whenever I click this delete icon, it should delete here. So here there is some event going to happen here. When I add task, I'm clicking this add task. So it's event is going to happen. Most of the time, the click event is 99% you're going to use. Okay.
Yes,
So,
because I've seen the click event in Google Tag Manager where we
yeah, you go
enter
and
the
type,
analytics.
give like that. So you get all the content from there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just put this in my GitHub. You just get from there npm git in git. So git commit m to key events. Key. Okay. So just go and pull from there. Okay. Learn everything because this is the fundamentals of the DOM. So if you are not know this properly, so it is very hard to track our when we doing the project. Okay, learn this. So these are the basic things. Okay, the fundamentals and the DOM events. These are the very basic things. So we should want to know this kind of things. Okay, so go and practice this. So we'll get tomorrow about the local storage and the event delegation and all the stuffs. Okay, shall we close?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Take care.